Okay, so we're super excited that y'all are on today, and I know that probably the topic might have scared some people. We are not calling anybody out. Last week we talked about drawing our line in the sand and doing whatever it takes. And so we just thought maybe we could get the excuses that either your team has or that you might have and try to help figure out ways to get past that excuse. And so I know a lot of times people think, well, I have this, I have that, I can't do this because of that. And maybe it's just going to take somebody saying, oh, you can do this, but you just do it this way. It's no big deal, right? So this is a very friendly Zoom. We are not calling anybody out on the Zoom. What we have done, Ariele and I both posted on our team pages and asked for y'all's excuses. We did not make up the excuses ourselves. We strictly took them from the posts on our 2 pages and we merged them together. We started with the ones that were the most popular that we both had or maybe had more than once, and we went down through the list. So we're going to get to as many as we can today. We're both going to kind of talk about them, and if we don't get through all of them, we'll finish up maybe next week or the next week. But we do want to get through these. We do want you sharing this with your team because maybe it will encourage somebody today to go ahead and make that line in their sand and cross over it and do whatever it takes. So the first one we're going to talk about is I don't have time. And Ariele and I both are going to touch on this and touch on our lives when we first started Plexus and our lives now. Many of you know this, but some of you may not. When I first started Plexus, I was working a couple different part-time jobs, really more that equaled more than a full-time job, and my husband traveled all the time. So I literally had 0 time. But what I did was I worked Plexus every single day. Every day I worked Plexus. I was super consistent. If somebody messaged me, I messaged them back as soon as I could that day. But I would work it when I could. So I might wake up 5 or 10 minutes early and work it. I might go to bed 5 or 10 minutes late and work it. When I was sitting at practices for my kids, I was working from my phone. When I was sitting at lunch, if I had lunch, I was working it. I was doing whatever I could, even if it was like 5 minutes here and there throughout the entire day. Those 5 minutes add up to a lot of time. And guys, it doesn't take 30 seconds to make a Facebook post. It doesn't take really more than 30 seconds to respond to a message that you've gotten, to reach out to somebody. You have to make time. If you make time every single day and are consistent on making time, I promise you that your business will grow. If you make time once or twice a month, your business is not going to consistently grow. End of story. So are you willing to step over that line? Are you willing to do whatever it takes? Are you willing to find those 5 or 10 minutes? You know, back then, I've never been like a huge TV watcher, but kind of organically, I stopped watching TV for a while. I'm not saying that I didn't ever watch it, but this was important to me. When my business started growing, that was important to me. Every once in a while, everybody take a gas. I miss a kid's sporting event. Not because I want to miss. Everybody that knows me knows that my kids are like at the top of my list. I hate missing anything. But every once in a while when something comes around, for instance, Super Saturday, huge, that's in January. I always miss Jake's first basketball game of the season. I hate missing his basketball game, but I sacrificed that little game to go do a corporate thing, to learn how to grow my business. And guess what? He always has a game the next week, and he survives. Now, I'm not going to lie. If it's like a championship game their senior year, obviously I'm not going to miss that, right? But these little things here and there, I don't miss them every week. These little things here and there, even though you think you don't have time, if you will just do these 5 minutes there, 5 minutes here, whenever you can, they will add up. And if you do it every single day, I promise you'll see your business start to grow. So now what does that look like? Now I do have more time because I'm not working any of those jobs. And I am a mom and a wife first, and then comes Plexus. And there are days that it's crazy busy, right? You know, when we're running a million different directions with our kids. But I promise you, you have 5 minutes somewhere. I have 5 minutes somewhere, whether it be when I'm taking a bath. Somebody messaged me the other day, and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I messaged you when you're in the bath. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's my best place to work. I get a lot done in the bathtub. You just get my laugh-proof case on and start working. Find 5 or 10 minutes. I promise every day if you will do it, you will not regret it. Now, that does not mean just post on Facebook. That does not mean get on there 5 minutes here, there, and whatever and scroll through Facebook. It means seriously work your business for those 5 minutes that you have. So Arielle's going to tell her story because she's a very busy lady too.
Hear me? Can you hear me? No? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? You can't hear me?
Yeah,
No?
I can. You're good now.
I'm good?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so when I started this business, and I still do, Beth and I are both busy. We have kids. I have 2 kids. My kids are involved in school, sports. When I started, they still are. My husband works very long hours. He leaves the house at 4 in the morning, and he's not back again until 9 at night. So a lot of times I consider myself a single parent. I have another job as well. So I know y'all have heard this before, what we've told you, but it's pretty much the same thing. What Beth said, you can find time to work this business. When I first started Plexus, I found the time to work this business. I'm a person, I like lists, I like to keep things in order. So that's just something I've been good at. Ever since I've started, I would at least have an hour a day to work this business. It's always been in the morning, and I keep my other business. I work that before Plexus, and I set the rest of the day around my Plexus schedule. And then when my kids come home from school, I'm with my kids from pretty much 3 to 8 o'clock at night. And then I pick 2 nights a week that I'm free for my members, like so many of you that are sitting in the offices right now where you can't talk during the day. And I know Beth does the same thing, where we're free for you in the evening so we can talk and do trainings then as well. So anybody can find the time to do this. That's an excuse. I have so many people. I'm looking here. I know Beth said we weren't going to call anybody out. I'm not calling anybody out, but I see a lot of my team that should be on this call that is not on this call. So I cannot wait to hear what their excuses are. Anybody can find the time. If it's important to you, if Plexus really is what you want to do, if you want to quit your job, you want to retire your husband, you're going to make the time to make Plexus a priority every single day. You're going to find the time to do it.
Correct. It just has to be a priority. And once you realize that and once you do it, I guarantee your business will bloom. So no more excuses on time, right? We're all busy. Okay, the second thing, and it kind of goes with this, I have a full-time job. Okay, so like we both said, Arielle's job, her other job was from her house, but mine was not. I actually worked at my kid's school, and so I had to be at school every day. And so, like Ariele said too, she's a list maker. So if you have to be at work from 8 to 5 or whatever your schedule is, it's very important to make lists. Make a list the night before of the things that you need to get done, and when can you pencil it in. Make your schedule. When we were in Hawaii last week, that was not last week, that was 2 weeks ago, sorry. Carrie Wilkerson talked about how you should set your day. Set your day. And this is one thing that I've learned. And so when she started talking about it, I was like, ooh, I do part of that. Anyways, but in the mornings, like I have a routine. She says, always get up before your kids get up. Even if you have a tiny baby, you should get up and get dressed before your kids get up. It just starts the tone of your day, right? So my routine is like this, and this is kind of my schedule. First thing in the morning, I get up, I get dressed. It's just my gym clothes first thing because I go to the gym. I come in my office and I do my devotional, and then I hop on Facebook real quick and check my messages, go through the team pages, go through my notifications real quick, check my email, and just make sure there's nothing. I answer as much as I can, and then at 6:45 I go get my kids up, and from 6:45 until I take them to school. Like that's me, my mom time, right? I mean, there's every once in a while if they're like brushing their teeth or whatever, I can check again if I need to, and then I go straight from drop off to the gym every day, and then come home and get ready for my day, and my day starts at 10. And so for me, that schedule every single day sets the tone for my day. I promise you, when I personally waver from that schedule, my day goes all kinds of chaos. So make your schedule and make your list. If you know you have a break at work, your full-time job, put in 5 minutes. I'm going to contact these 3 people. I'm going to message them real fast. I'm going to send them a voice message. Voice messages are so much faster than typing and more personable. But make your schedule how it needs to be. Do you need to wake up those 15 minutes earlier? Do you need to stay up 15 minutes later? Do you need to commit 30 minutes of your lunch break working this? Just figure out how you can work it throughout your day, even though you are at a full-time job. I get it, guys. I'm not saying this like pulling it out of a hat. I did it. And you know what? I worked that job. I was on contract. And so I started that job. I got the contract in March, but I didn't start until June. But I was still working another job before that. I was working another job. So June I started. I started Plexus in March. I went Emerald in November of that year, Sapphire in January of the next year, and Diamond in the next month of February. So that's 11 months. I wasn't able to quit my job until May, because that was my contract. So I was there. I was working that job away from my home, not on my schedule. It can happen. You just have to draw that line in the sand and not let that be an excuse. It may go a little bit slower if your job is different than mine. It may go a little slower, but if you commit to doing it, it's going to be all right. I promise. So, Ariele, what do you think?
I agree. I'm not going to repeat it. I mean, we all heard Beth's story, same thing. Kind of the same thing, though. What we learned in Hawaii, get up and get dressed first thing in the morning. My morning looks pretty much just like Beth's, exactly to the T. Wake up, get dressed. I come have my personal time, and I'm with my kids. It's important to find that balance. Everything we learned, and we'll probably do a Zoom maybe next month about all this. And those of you going to Leaders Retreat, you're going to learn about it. Everything needs to be in a perfect equilibrium. So you need to have that personal time as well in the morning, I think, to devote to yourself before devoting to your business. I start my office hours at 10:30, and I'm a little meaner than Beth. I do not check my messages from people. I make them wait. If it's an emergency, they're going to find a way around it. And I used to be real good about that. I used to message people at 5 in the morning. I wait until 10:30 because that is my time for me and what I need to get done. So then I can truly focus 100% on my team come 10:30. But agree with everything that Beth had to say. I'm not going to repeat it. So.
And I 100% believe if you'll set boundaries for yourself, one, you won't be overwhelmed and this won't consume you. No aspect of your life should consume you. And so if you'll set boundaries and if you'll set that schedule and you'll set that time frame, I really feel like your days will flow much easier. I really have been trying to make office hours for a long time and saying I have office hours, but last week coming home from Hawaii, I really had to commit to that. And so what I found was my kids were going to leave home in a few years and say my mom worked all the time. Her phone was in her face 24 hours a day, because it was. Even though I had office hours, I was still working all the time. And so I really have set them, and I really have tried hard last week and this week to do that. This weekend, the 4 of us were together, and I didn't even take my phone. Another gasp. That was like hard, but I didn't. And the messages that came in over the weekend, I messaged them back as soon as I could on Monday. And obviously, if there's an emergency, if there's something going on, if it's in a month, it's going to be a different situation. But building boundaries and building a schedule really helps me feel a little bit more in control and a little bit more not so crazy all the time. So, okay, so the next excuse that we have is one of my favorites. I don't have a testimony yet, so I can't share Plexus. All right, so again, some of you may know this, some of you may not. I did not have a testimony when I started sharing Plexus. In fact, I thought I was like going to quit Plexus and it wasn't going to work for me. But this is what I did know. Ariele had taken Plexus before. Celeste had taken Plexus before. Brainy Anderson had taken Plexus before. And so I had their story, guys. Like, I knew it worked for them, but I did not think it was going to work for me. I'm telling you, I thought they are crazy. I'm going to drink this drink, but that's not going to last long. I'm not going to drink it more than a month. But Celeste called me and she said, you have to share this. You have to post 2 times a day and you have to share this. And you know what I told her? I told her no. I said, I am not going to share this on Facebook 2 times a day. You are crazy. But God changed my mind and I did. But again, I didn't have a story to tell. I didn't know if I even liked it. But I had their story to tell. And so maybe a post was, I'm starting this new supplement. I'm so excited about it. Or, hey guys, I'm drinking the pink drink. I've seen lots of my friends try it, so I'm trying it now. People are like, well, what is that? What is it? If you don't have a story, do not let that stop you from sharing Plexus. There are enough stories in this Plexus world that you can share. And let me tell you something. Back then, and that we're going to get into this a little bit later, we didn't have team pages to hear these stories. We didn't have all this stuff, but we found stories. I knew that they liked it. I knew that it did these things. And so we could post about that. Do not let not having a story stop you from sharing, because let me tell you something else. If I would have waited to have my story, my team would look a whole lot different right now. I guarantee it. I guarantee they would have gone with somebody else because other people started sharing. And just because I didn't, and I wasn't scared, I was scared a little bit, but I still did it. I didn't use that as an excuse. People did join. So anyways, don't let that be an excuse. I'm a prime example right now. If you need to talk about it more, message me. So, Ariele?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I took the product probably for 8 or 9 months before I became an ambassador. Shame on me for waiting so long, because I did have amazing results with the product. I had a weight loss results as well as health results with migraines. And I know we're not supposed to talk about all that, but this is just us. So I had amazing results, and I waited way too long to sign up. So, but like Beth said, share other people's. I used to share Celeste all the time, her before and after picture. So if you don't have your own testimony, find somebody else's. And like Beth said, now we're so lucky with our team pages and the corporate befores and afters that have come out. So use those if you don't have your own testimony yet. Absolutely.
And just a comment about the before and afters, you can actually go in, I believe, and search Plexus before and afters in the on Facebook, or maybe it's hashtag Plexus before and after. But all of some of the approved ones, if they've been tagged like that, then they will pop up and you can see them. So, and those are all approved. Please use approved ones. Those are the ones that are compliant. So that is not an excuse. And the other thing is, we've done it before. I challenge you to reach out to 5 people. Find 5 people on this call that you see and message them and say, hey, will you share your Plexus story with me? That builds belief and that gives you more stories to share. So, okay.
Hey guys, really quick, I'm getting some private messages. Please go mute yourself if you're not already muted. Otherwise, Beth is going to reset it to mute everybody. There's several people that are not muted. If you can go mute yourself at the bottom of your screen, in the left-hand corner where it says mute. Thanks, guys.
Okay, the next one we have is people cannot afford it. And I know lots of people say that they have that. Okay, first of all, there's 2 different components, I believe. Do you believe Plexus is expensive, or do you believe Plexus is worth it? Truth be told, I don't know that I personally have ever had anybody say Plexus is too expensive to me. But when I go into it, I don't even make that a factor. I always tell people to order preferred if they're going to be a customer, because it is cheaper. And I start off with that. If you're going to order, you need to order preferred. It's quite a bit cheaper than ordering retail. You can turn it off anytime. You have complete access. That's always my spiel. I don't know the last time I signed a retail customer. If they still think it's too expensive, encourage them to sign up as wholesale and say, hey, do you think you have 2 or 3 friends that might try this with you? If so, then you would essentially make your money back enough to pay for your products. Another suggestion is grab a best friend and split a bag of Slim for the first month. And see if you like it. But you also need to give them, what are they going to stop using if they're using Plexus? For me, I wasn't stopping and get a soda every day. For me, I wasn't stopping at the closest fast food restaurant to get French fries. All these things. Some people are not taking medications anymore. We cannot guarantee that, of course, but these are huge expenses that people don't realize are really more expensive than Plexus. And so, but I really believe if you will lead with confidence and that it's not, and again, I know that people are going to hear, I just so far have not heard that. But if you lead with confidence and don't even kind of make it an issue, I think that that's one way to do it. But then those are a couple other options. Ariele, do you have any ideas for that one?
Yeah, agreed. Also, when people tell me they can't afford it, when I'm talking to a customer, I always remind them of the 60-day money back guarantee. And then something else, I'm sure it's on Beth's team page as well. I printed it off this morning. A lot of people, they get nervous. I'm sure you've seen it, the plexus shield of confidence. It has ways to combat simple things like that when people say they can't afford it. So all you do is you share your story plus 2 more. We have a 60-day money back guarantee. We have testimonies. This right here can pretty much get you through anything, you guys. But I want you to look up that. There's a video that goes along with it as well. But like she said, there's the wholesale, preferred customer, and 60-day money back guarantee. I always use that. 60-day money back guarantee. You have nothing to lose. So.
And that is in the file section on my team page for sure. Okay, so another big one was finding balance. And we kind of have talked about this in the first 2 excuses, but finding balance. Guys, it's very important to have balance. Believe me, you want to find balance now before 3.5 years later, because if not, it's a lot harder to figure out your balance then. But seriously, set the stage of your day. Set your day. Write down everything that has to go down. Write it in your calendar what you have to do every day and mark it off the list when it's done if that's something that helps you. But write everything that you need to do during the day down. Define those office hours for your team. For me, I posted them the other day. It's 10 to 3 Monday through Friday. Weeknights by appointment only, because I do try to stick to 2 weeknights away from my family. And weekends, for the most part, I'm off. I mean, I may be checking things, but I'm also spending time with my family. And again, there may be exceptions to those rules. Obviously, there will be, but set those office hours and stick to them. And I'm preaching to the choir, believe me. I'm working on it, but find the balance. Schedule the power hour that we talked about. Who's done their power hours that we talked about last week? Who literally has set aside an hour during the day, 30 minutes during the day if you don't have an hour, and set it just for building your business or just for working on your business, not your team, your business. I know many people have, and they're amazed at what they can get done. If you will work that 30 minutes, that 15 minutes, if you don't, whatever it is, and truly work it, not scroll around Facebook, not do whatever, but truly work your business for those 15 minutes, it's amazing what you can get done. I remember listening to Sarah Marble, and she was talking about how, like during the summer is way different for a lot of us because we all have kids, and, she tried to be doing it all throughout the day. But when she would schedule time, even if it's a short amount of time, it's amazing what you can get done in 30 minutes rather than just trying to do it all over the place during the day. Schedule that time and work your tail off during that time. You will be able to get a ton done. And it may be different every day. It may be a different time every day. It may be a different time limit every day, but work your business during that time.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to add. We already talked about it, so y'all know what to do.
Okay. I'm scared I will annoy my friends. Okay, so I was terrified of this. I was so worried I was going to lose friends. I was so worried somebody was going to unfriend me or say something ugly to me. That would like break me down if somebody did that to me. I post on Facebook every single day. Unless like 10 other people have posted on my Facebook for me. Sometimes that happens. Like Hawaii, everybody's posting pictures, so we didn't want to get too carried away. But I do there is a Plexus post on my Facebook every day. I've been doing this 3.5 years plus. I have had one person unfriend me, and it's somebody that I wasn't even really friends with. No one has been ugly to me. No one has said anything mean to me. What I realized was I needed to be bold. We have products that are changing people's lives, end of story. How many people do you know that Plexus has changed their life in one way or another? Well, there's 48 people on this call, so there's 48 people whose lives have been changed. Now, you can say you know 48 people, but I guarantee you know more than that, right? We cannot be ashamed. We cannot be embarrassed to tell people about Plexus. People need these products. People need to feel better. People need to, become ambassadors so they can pay their car payment without stress. People need Plexus. We cannot be ashamed. We cannot be scared. And guys, again, I'm preaching to the choir because it terrified me. I was so anxious and worked up about posting on Facebook. There were times where hitting post took me, like over the top, but I did it, guys. And it's the way people found out. Facebook is a huge opportunity that network marketers used to not have. It's a huge place where lots of people can see it, right? But not even that. Don't even just stop with Facebook. We talk about it all the time. Don't be scared. I don't know if y'all watched my video last week, but I was talking about something had popped up on Facebook of someone I had not talked to in about 10 years. And I don't know why it popped up on my Facebook. Like the person she commented on, I didn't know that person either. It was the post was something about how trying to get rid of migraines. And it was something about using like baby shampoo or something. I don't know. And so I was bold. I was scared, but I was bold. And I did not make an excuse. And I messaged her the next day and I said, hey, how are you? Love seeing your pictures on Facebook. Always make it personal first. I noticed that you commented on a post yesterday about migraines. I have had many friends who have had relief from migraines because of Plexus. I have a sample and would love to send it to you. Y'all, I was terrified to do that. Do you know what she said to me? She said, I've been meaning to message you for over a year to talk about Plexus with you. Don't be scared. Just because people aren't talking to you doesn't mean that they're not watching you. Doesn't mean that they don't need it. People need this. People need it for their health. People need it for their finances. So don't be scared. Don't be ashamed. Commit to that today. Be proud. So, Ariele?
Yeah, agreed. I'm not going to say the same thing. I mean, you're not going to annoy your friends. If they're your friends, they're going to be happy for you regardless. Same as Beth. I maybe have had one or two people unfriend me. Obviously, we weren't good friends. All my real friends, they're still there. They're still liking my posts. They're still cheering me on. When they see me go to Hawaii, they're still sending me messages like, way to go, awesome. So people truly are happy for you. They're watching you, whether you know it or not. So just keep doing what you're doing. You're not annoying people. It's like Celeste used to always say with the dang cats, we have to look at your cat pictures. You're going to look at our Plexus post, same exact thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, and just because they're not liking or commenting doesn't mean that you're annoying them. I've learned that even just last week. I had somebody reach out to me. It's like, okay, we need to talk about this. And he's never liked a post. He's never commented on anything. People are watching. People are watching. So don't think that you're annoying people. If you do, peace out to them or something. I mean, seriously, so, and I don't say that like jokingly, like I'm a friend person. Like if a friend left me because I do Plexus, I would be like really, really sad. But I promise none of my good friends have left me because of Plexus. So, I still have friends that aren't on Plexus that know I do it every day and think, and ask me how Hawaii was when I got back, so anyways. Okay. Okay. This is the next one. And this one, Ariele and I can both attest to this one. I need to know everything before I share. Okay, I'm going to flat out say we knew nothing. We knew nothing. Celeste joined 3 or 4 days before I did. Ariele joined about 4 or 5 weeks after I did. We knew nothing. There were no team pages. There were no YouTube videos. There was no Plexus Power Tools. We knew nothing. But we didn't let that stop us. I still don't know everything. If I still was not sharing Plexus 3.5 years later because I didn't know everything, I mean, that would be crazy, right? Don't let that stop you. If you're in a job, 8 to 5 job, do you know every single thing about your job? Do you know the answer to every question that somebody asks you? Absolutely not. It is a learning process and a growing process. So we cannot let that stop us because we don't know everything. I promise if you came in and asked me a product question, there's like a serious, like, I know about the products, but like a really in-depth question, I really do have to reach out sometimes to my product, like crunchy friends, because I didn't need to know every ingredient. I have every ingredient that I can send to people if they need it, but I didn't have to know all of those to share Plexus. I knew what it did for me. Facts tell, stories sell. 1,000,000 times, guys. Learn. I'm not telling you not to learn, not to research, not to look, not to watch videos. I watch product videos. That's how I learn, because it takes it down into my language. But share and then ask questions. It shows that you're real. If somebody says, oh, what about this? And you say, hang on, I don't know that answer, but I will be glad to find out for you. And then go find out the answer. It's not a big deal. You're a real person, right? So do not be scared to not know all the answers, right, Ariele?
Totally agree. Beth and I are not product gurus at all, and we're the first to tell you that. Our passion is not about the ingredients and all of that. Our passion is about the business and helping other people. When we first started, we didn't even know what was in the pink drink. We thought Jen Hawkins' grandpa made in his basement. We did not know what this was, and we did not care. And I'm still that way. I'm like, you know what? If it works, it works. So you do not have to be an expert. We are living proof of that 100%.
Absolutely.
Also, guys, I'm going to have to sign off in like 2 minutes. I already told Beth, so I don't want y'all to think like there she goes, but letting y'all know. But yeah, please do not be afraid. I have so many people tell me, well, I need to learn all the products. I need to learn the ingredients. No, you don't. If you were to ask me right now what all the ingredients were in a certain product, I couldn't tell you. I know enough that I can speak to somebody about the products here on the spot, but y'all, I don't care. If somebody asks me those questions, I'll get that information to them. You need to be confident and be positive and be passionate, and that's going to take you to the top. Don't fall back on those excuses. I promise you. We are both living proof of that. So.
And here's another thing. You know how the saying, it takes a village to raise our kids, right? It takes a village because there's all kinds of people that have to help us do whatever, get them places, love on them, you know, whatever. It takes a village to have a Plexus business. And, you know, this family is a village. But I have found people, my sister-in-law for one, who researches the ingredients and knows how to pronounce them. I can't even pronounce half of them. But I learn from her, and I take her with me. And if I have a question, I'll call her and I say, explain this to me. Explain this to me. There are videos, there are YouTube videos about the products. You can learn them. You can look in the back office. Just don't let it stop you. PlexusPowerTools.com. If you are not on PlexusPowerTools.com, it is an amazing resource. It's $10 a year, not a month, a year. And it's every document you could ever possibly need, from ingredients to business documents to testimonials to, I think it has like the Diamond Docs on there. It has everything on there. One of our friends, PC, Christopher, started that site. He spent like 1,000 hours just making the site. And I'm telling you, anytime anything's updated, like within 30 minutes, he has it updated and changed on that website. It is an amazing resource. It's where I get all of my documents from. But it has the list of the ingredients, frequently asked questions, business questions, business ideas, sample emails, all kinds of stuff. So if you're not on that, hop on that because it's an amazing, amazing resource. So
I go there for everything. That's where I printed this updated one this morning.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I send to people when they have questions about things. I get their email or I'll send the attachment. It's laid out beautifully, the colors, it's easy to read. That's what I send to every single person because I'm not a product guru by any means.
So I think that since Ariele has to hop off, I'm going to answer the questions that are up, and we're going to stop here. We're about halfway through our list of excuses, but I think it's probably a good stopping point because we don't want to, take up 2 hours of your day. And Ariele does have to run, and so we can catch up on it next week or possibly the next. But let me look at the questions and see if anybody else has questions. Put them down there, and I will try to answer them. Okay. Okay, have you found what the good times are to post on Facebook, or do you just post whenever? Here's the deal, guys. Try to think of times when you are on Facebook. Like, I hop on first time in the morning. There's people at work that hop on at lunchtime. There's people in the evenings that don't get on all day long. So that's why it's recommended to post more than one time a day. Because if you post in the morning and somebody doesn't even hop on until the evening time, they're never going to see that because there's so much stuff on your feed and all of that. So I would post different times. If you're not going to post more than one time a day, I would post different times throughout the day because you want it in your feed constantly. I also would do things that are asking questions and getting people to comment so that it does pop up and show in your feed more. Like yesterday, it was quite humorous. I loved it. Julie's laughing already because she knows what I'm laughing at. I put, if you know me, you know I love. And pretty much people were straight on what I loved. I love Jesus. I love my boys. I love summer and making memories. But my favorite quote of all was that I love 90s rap music. And all my best friends were like, that's it. So anyways, but it got a conversation going. And the more comments you get on these conversations, it's they're popping up in people's feeds more. And so when that pops up, more will pop up. So keep your Facebook active. Don't just throw up a graphic and say, have a nice day. Keep it going, keep it fun, keep it comical. Like last night I posted, we had chili because it was the first cold 66-degree day weather in Dallas, and I knew that probably 95% of Dallas had super chilly last night. And so I posted a pot of chili and said, who else in Dallas is having chili? And that was just a thread that people were like popping up. And of course, in the middle of that day, I posted Plexus posts as well. So you want to keep your audience engaged. You want your non-Plexus people. I was really excited last night to see that chili post. Like the first 5 people were non-Plexus people that posted. And I was like, yes, people still watch me. People still look at my comments, you know, because you do want people engaging and you do still want people watching you and not unfollowing you. I'm following you. So, okay, let's see. Yeah, okay. I think that it was all the questions. Any other questions before I go? If anyone wants to unmute, I don't mind that. We can hop on down for about 5 more minutes. If anyone wants to unmute themselves and ask a question. Anyone? All right. Well, thank you all for being here and not letting time be an excuse for this today. We will finish this up. I hope that this has helped and given y'all some different ideas how to, you know, get past that excuse. You know, these are some of the same things that lots of people listen to or say and listen to their teams say. And so we really just wanted to help you come up with some ways to effectively work your Plexus business and to work it and not be scared. And guys, I'm telling you, this was a growing for me. Growing to not be scared to post on Facebook. Growing to not be scared that my friends were going to unfriend me and all that. But I promise they won't. I promise, I promise, I promise. So anyways, y'all take this. I'll put the recording on as soon as it's up. Share it with your team. And we will see y'all next week. Have a great week, guys.